How have you seen a person's life be ruined in a single day? We had extended family together for a holiday, and everyone was making jokes about how my cousin was late. His mom and dad were involved in the jokes, texting him, being upset about how he was late and all. Turns out, someone hit him in a head-on collision on his way over, and he died on impact. The police knocked on the door to notify the family, like a freaking movie. I'll never forget watching the family crumple to the ground. God effing damn it. I am so sorry your family had to go through that. Thank you. Apparently the guy aimed for him on purpose too, so you can imagine how well the family has taken it. An 18-year-old tried to steal a couple bottles of Hennessy from my store. When I confronted him, he swung the bottle at my head and connected. I rolled with the blow so it didn't do much damage. Charged with assault and robbery by my company, violent crimes offender and lost custody of his baby. Edit. Guess I should have said, the company I work for, instead of, my company, as I am no owner, lol. It's always freaking Hennessy. I've seen like 4 or 5 liquor store robberies, well, grab and dash type, not everyone get on the ground, and it's always people grabbing bottles of that freaking mediocre cognac. A friend of mine got busted in a drug raid, and was caught with half a minivan's worth of weed. Most people measure their weed in grams, some in ounces, a few in pounds. Then there's this dude measuring his in minivans. I was working in a bank. One day, the director fired one of his executives. The whole, empty your desk, you're fired, speech, in front of everyone. The director was furious and the guy seemed entirely destroyed. Then he explains to all that this guy gave his login and password to a friend in another branch. The friend used that login, and others, while doing some kind of credit card fraud. Police arrested her, but lacked evidence against the fired guy, so they just fired him on the spot. Obviously, besides losing his job, he was also blacklisted to work in banks or finance. Sounds like he got off easy. I play poker. I once saw a man on my way in, betting about 10k, all on one roulette spin. He chose red, and lost. He looked defeated. Later that night, a guy at our table told us that he heard the guy on the phone crying in the parking lot, trying to explain to his wife that he lost their money. She was screaming and said she wants a divorce. Gambling addiction is sad. Addicts genuinely believe the next turn will be the winning turn, and so they go all in. They believe that if it had been a winning deal, they'd have been foolish for not going all in and getting that payoff, so they just do it. People who work in hotels and casinos have many stories of people who have lost everything and killed themselves somewhere on property. A kid I went to school with, and his sister, died in a car crash. They were in the car behind the parents' car, driving the older sister to her first year of college. Parents made a turn and no longer saw the kid's car behind them. I would say, finding both your kids dead is up there. Edit. 2 cars. Kid's car behind the parents' car, on a, if I recall, the stretch, 2-lane highway. I was working with a guy, 16, one day, when he gets a phone call. His dad, mum, brother, and sister had gone to pick up the new family car. His dad took a corner too fast and drove straight into the underside of a bridge. Guy lost his entire family in a split second, and the only reason he wasn't in the car too was because he was at work. One guy I knew found out that he was going to be a father on his graduation night. He was 17, and he looked absolutely destroyed. Enjoying this video? Go ahead and click that subscribe button for new videos every single day. Hey, you might as well. It's free. One of my friends was playing online with me when I hear a knock on his door through the mic. His parents walk in and decide to tell them that he is adopted and that they are getting a divorce. All in one go. No emotional breaks or anything. And my friend just breaks down over the mic as his parents walk out. Hey man, I know this is a bad time, but we need heels. On a serious note, I hope he is doing alright. Quite the wombo combo to lay on a kid. Yep, at least several times a month, we had to take care of a family who learned that their child had cancer that day. Pretty terrible life-altering news. I spent a lot of time distracting kids with board games or coloring while their parents were talking to doctors, crying, and then amazingly pulling it together to continue on. My parents talked about this day for me. I was diagnosed with leukemia when I was between 3 to 4 years old. It was a misdiagnosis, but they said they thought it was a death sentence and it was horrible. A girl in my class got caught with a thermos full of vodka, and when the teacher caught her, she got sent to the principal's office. Well, when the principal asked her why she was drinking, the girl told him that she had been sleeping with the school resource officer. Dude was a cop, stationed at the school, having sex with a 10th grader, got dragged out of the school by officers that worked alongside him. At the court hearing, they found out he was having sex with 2 more girls at the school. His wife and 2 kids were in the courtroom to support him, because he told them he was innocent. That kinda caved when one of the girls had a video of the 2 of them having sex. This was a few years ago. I work in a hospital. Got notified a large trauma was coming in. A minivan got struck by a drunk driver, with the grandpa, aunt, and 3 kids under 10. The aunt survived. The kids came to my hospital, 1 dead on arrival and the other 2 we couldn't save. Kept them on life support until the parents got there to say goodbye. I'm always going to remember the sound of the mom singing to them. She lost all her kids and her dad in 1 day. Ugh. This happened near Toronto. I remember this. What a tragedy. Rich guy gets drunk and kills this family. Did he get life? Nope. 10 years. And he's only like 32. Dude's got a long life ahead of him. Have a friend whose boss got into a gnarly car accident a week ago. Today she was officially told she's paralyzed from the waist down. She was also notified today that her husband died, non-car accident related. I don't know exactly why he passed, but to go from a happy life with your soulmate to not being able to walk and have your life partner is something I can't imagine recovering soon from. That's literally the stuff of my nightmares. I had a former colleague who was doing his residency in general surgery. He had just started his 5th and final year of training. One day, in the middle of a surgical case, the police show up at the hospital for him. A tech pulled him out of the OR, and he was arrested right there on the spot in front of everybody. Still in most of his surgical attire, he had to do the walk of shame through the entire hospital, in handcuffs and OR scrubs. Turns out, his ex-wife had gone to the police claiming that he had molested their children. The children testified to this effect as well. All of us were blown away. This was the sweetest, most cheerful guy ever. Nobody thought him capable of something like this. Sure enough, it came out several months later that the kid's statements were coerced, and that his ex-wife falsified the whole thing. It wasn't the first time she had attempted to screw him over, but it was definitely the most successful. Dude's career and life were effed. There's crazy X, and then there's straight up evil X. Doing an MRI on a 33-year-old healthy man because he was a bit dizzy and finding a golf ball tumor in his brain. Read the radiology report. Googled type of tumor. Finding only 5% survive. Edit. I should also say that I do a lot of 30-something-year-olds who come in for head issues, and almost every single one of them are fine. Watched a mom and her kid on a boat, escorted by law enforcement back to the dock. Her boyfriend had gone swimming off the boat. The wind pushed the vessel away from him. She didn't know anything about how to turn it on to move it closer. It kept getting farther. He kept swimming harder. He eventually slipped under and was recovered 80 feet down. A few days later, I'll never forget the look on her face. Never. He was a 28-year-old airman. Peak health. Wear a life jacket, people. You are not stronger than Mother Nature. And don't leave a boat without someone who can drive it safely.